Hi, I'm Paul from pd8sports.com, leading online racket specialist, and today we're doing something slightly different. We are asking which racket style should I use. I've got two of the sort of latest and greatest. We've got the teardrop shape, which is what you would class as the newer, more modern design, and then the classic head shape, which is still evolving because like this racket here, this Tecnifibre 130 Suprem, has got a 500 square centimetre head size. So it's still got a massive head size as with the teardrop. But as you can see, the main difference is the fact that the strings on the teardrop go all the way down to the bottom. And really what I wanted to do was talk about the differences on my own personal experience and also really what you get from the different designs and what to expect. I did actually start playing with wood rackets, and then I moved over to graphite, and that was like revolutionary. For years and years, to the point when I was playing professionally, the only style I could ever use, I did try to sort of dabble with this one, was the classic head shape, and I used to use one with a much smaller head. Now the reason that I could never get on with the teardrop ones was because when I was playing at a very high level, I was just demanding more and more control and feel for my rackets, and I never felt I could ever get it from that. So I was always looking for sort of small-headed, classic head shapes, shorter strings, and that gives you the maximum feedback from your shots. But what that then doesn't offer is loads of power. So as the years have gone by, and now I'm playing much more sort of recreationally and for fun, still at hopefully quite a high level, like I've just seamlessly moved over to this one, and like today when I'm hitting with these balls, like it's just so much easier to use this racket. I think the one thing I was trying to think why these rackets are so much easier to use these days, and I can only say the fact that the strings are so long, it just allows much more of a sweeter spot across the whole of the racket. So if I don't hit it perfectly, I'm still getting a much more shot that I'm happy with. Whereas as soon as I drop back into this one, yes, the performance level goes up. It does go up, but what you can't afford to do is miss-hit the ball. So as I said, I now would much prefer to pick up this racket and play with this racket, because I think like if you pick the right racket, you can still get really high performance. These ones now, like the Carboflex, this is the X-Speed 125. The performance is still very, very close to what you would get from a classic head shape, but with the forgiveness. So you kind of have to ask yourself, do you need to be putting yourself under so much pressure? And like yesterday, I mean, one of the reasons we're doing this video is because yesterday I was watching the World Open that's currently running, and I was quite surprised because at one point it seemed more and more of the top players were moving on to the teardrop. But last night when I was watching the highlights, there was like 4 or 5 of the top players that are still using this classic head shape. So there's clearly still a strong market for the better players that want the precision in this. So let's have a little look. I'm going to take these through some shots and try and sort of again just elaborate more about the different sensations you're going to get from the two different designs of racket. So I'm just casually hitting some lengths, and like, you know, even when I sort of look down at this racket, like with it being the teardrop shape, I think it just inspires confidence. You know, it feels like it's got a bigger head, even though, as I said, like the other one that I'm trying has got the same square centimetre head size. Just the look of this racket gives me much more confidence. Right, so I've now got the more classic head shape, and like you just have to be much more accurate. I don't feel like I can casually hit the ball like I was with my X-Speed racket. You know, you feel every miss hit, and like, yes, I am rewarded for hitting the ball really well, but again, when I look at the racket, I don't have the confidence visually and in my head when I look down. So again, like this for me now is where, you know, the new Teardrop rackets, especially this Carboflex, really bridges the gap because, as I mentioned at the start of the video, like when I was playing full time, I was so dependent on a racket that could give me maximum control. I wouldn't have considered a teardrop shape. And I have to say, you know, like seeing the likes of Mohamed El Shabaghi, Marwin, Ali Farag, they're all using the teardrop, then, you know, that maybe gave me a lot more confidence to move, knowing that if these top players can use a teardrop racket, then, you know, other club players can use this teardrop racket and still get the control that they want. So, but I said, you've still got top players like Diego Elias that are using the classic head shape, and they don't seem to have any issues with the power. But I just, like I said, it's like a visual thing for me. I really like the way this inspires the confidence when you look at the shape of the racket. You kind of hear the difference as well as feeling the difference into your hand when you're using the classic head shape. You know, there's more ball feel, and when you hit it in that sweet spot, you know, it's so hard to beat that feeling. And again, you know, when you want to hit good short shots, you need a racket that's inspiring a consistent shot each time, consistent feel, and that's how you can really develop your short game. You know, I started this video asking, you know, which shape should you buy, and like hopefully I've just tried to sort of relay some of my own personal thoughts now to give you sort of an idea of how much I'm playing. You know, I'm always on court like once a week, sometimes twice a week, and I think that's why for me the teardrop shape just works a lot better because, like as I've said, it gives me more confidence when I look at the racket, and I'm not so focused that I want to be sort of under that massive pressure to hit the sweet spot. If I was playing 5 times a week or I was playing every night, then, you know, maybe I would even go back to this shape. I don't know. Like I certainly now, as I've got older, I can't see myself wanting to go back to this shape, but or playing more than once or twice a week. But you know, if that sort of hits a chord in terms of like, you know, you're playing once a week, then I think I would personally recommend a teardrop shape. And also with the teardrop shape rackets, you have, you know, the more strings you have in the racket, the closer they are together, the more feel and control you will get back. So like we sell some really popular, like the Head Cyano range. You know, it's such a great club player's racket. If the level is like lower, where you are hitting frames, everything around the racket, then I would maybe consider them. If you're like a level up, then you've got like the Carboflex. I mean, Head again do like a more of a slim body racket. So, because that's the other thing, is often the slimmer the frame, the more feel you get, but again, it's the power level maybe just drops down. So, yeah, so if we just finish off talking a little bit about this shape, I don't think it's finished by any means because, like I said, there seems to be a little bit of resurgence with some of the top players using that. You know, last night there was 2 head players that were using this style, and they were getting plenty of power and plenty of feel. So I don't think it's like, it still has a place, and you know, you might never have tried this sort of style and always stuck with that. That's another reason why you might stick with that, because you're just more comfortable. I know I used to have that feeling. But yeah, hopefully this has been like an interesting and a useful video in terms of if you're considering which shape of racket, squash racket, you should try. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like if you like the video. Feel free to post some comments down below and I'll try and answer them if you've got any questions. And yeah, don't forget to check out pdhsports.com.